Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Well, good Wednesday morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey here. Spencer Hughes as well. Good morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning. Happy midweek to you. What's going on?
Yeah, midweek for sure. We are definitely seeing some changes in the weather as the rain is upon us here often and heavy as we move through the middle of the month. Everything else been going pretty good here. We'll talk a little bit about some other things going on. But today in the news, the latest on the COVID numbers for Mason County. Free potatoes tomorrow in Tacoma, and a story from Shoreline on COVID-19 spread.
I'll have the weather forecast. We'll talk to Kirk Smith and Jim Morrell from Peninsula Credit Union, talking about SBA Loans, the PPP program, a rise in unemployment fraud, and more. Mason County Public Health reports no change in their daily briefing. There are 7 active cases. The total since this began is 29 positive cases of COVID-19 in Mason County. As of the 9th, there have been 1,376 tests performed. Mason County Public Health is continuing contact interviews. To avoid exposure, continue to follow the guidance of washing hands frequently and thoroughly. Stay home unless essential to work. Limit travel to only medical appointments, medication pickup, and once every 2-week grocery shopping needs.
And, you know, even though things are starting to reopen and parks are starting to reopen and folks are maybe taking little day trips now to go and do those types of things, I think overall it's still important to follow those. I mean, I would remember 2 months ago where we would almost go to a store every other day, needlessly, no real need to go. You just go and wander. And I think those days, at least for the foreseeable future, are over. You know, you can go to the parks, go to the grocery stores, but essential trips, I think, is kind of the key on that one.
No, absolutely. And this has taught someone like me who I'm very guilty of that. And it would drive Sarah crazy where instead of just doing a smart shopping trip, even once a week for our size family, which is doable, I'm one of those that on my way home, you know, I'm like, oh, I'll pick up some milk because, you know, the kids drink through a lot of milk. Now we've learned we can fit 6 gallons of milk in the fridge instead of just 3 maybe or whatever. So we've kind of worked on new little tricks and hacks, and we got the chest freezer, which we didn't really have except for about a month before everything shut down. And that's been a lifesaver. So now we can plan things out even better. But I'm guilty as charged. I'm one of those that would just go to, you know, buy a pen or a stick of gum on the way home or something silly instead of just getting it all at once.
I got family members that have been using the pickup. You know, they'll set their order on the store's website and set it up for a pickup. And now they're waiving the delivery charges or the pickup charges. But if they have them, it's like $5. Anyways, my mother-in-law was telling me she's been using this and loves it. And it's saving her money, even though there is eventually there will be a delivery charge because she's not just walking up and down the aisles picking out stuff. You know, she knows what she needs. She marks it and she picks it up without having to go into the store and, you know, just grab it. I could use one of, I think I need one of those. So that has been a very, beneficial change for a lot of folks.
Absolutely.
The curbside pickup.
Yeah. And you're not hurting the business because you're still giving them the money. You're just eliminating that whole process that you have to go through the line. And even on a typical day, you know, people being rude or, you know what I mean? 30 items in the 10 items or less line. You don't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday, a written formal request was submitted for Mason County to have a variance move to Phase 2. They requested it yesterday morning, and within about a half an hour, a verbal response of no was received by the Secretary of Health, John Weissman. The county is requesting a formal written response to include the reasonings why the county was denied the variance, and I think later this morning, we'll have a little bit more from Commissioner Sharon Trask and Chief Deputy Sperling and Dave Wyndham on this.
Disease trackers are calling a choir practice in Washington State a super spreader event that illustrates how easily the coronavirus can pass from person to person. A report published yesterday suggests the act of singing may have spread the virus in a fine mist of particles. The report says a choir member with symptoms attended a March 10th rehearsal. Of 60 others who attended, 52 got sick with confirmed or probable COVID-19, including 2 who died. The rehearsal was held nearly 2 weeks before the state's stay-at-home order. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends avoiding large groups, wearing cloth masks in public, and staying at least 6 feet apart from others.
I heard that South Korea had another big increase hotspot. I guess one guy went out clubbing.
Oh, man.
And in the middle of the night, at club time, went out and I think went to 3 or 5 different clubs, possibly exposing thousands of people.
Wow.
By going and getting sweaty and dancing and stuff.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, not a good idea.
Tomorrow's a big day. Make sure you mark this, as Washington state farmers will give away more than 200,000 pounds of potatoes at the Tacoma Dome tomorrow as part of a mission to get 1 million pounds of potatoes into the hands of people in need. The News Tribune reports the potatoes were meant to be sold to restaurants and other food service establishments, but then COVID-19 hit. The Washington State Potato Commission has coordinated with local volunteers at the Tacoma Dome, the City of Tacoma, and Emergency Food Network to help hand out bags of potatoes loaded right into the vehicles. Again, this is going to be tomorrow at the Tacoma Dome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Good they're doing that.
Again, today on the show, we've got Kirk Smith and Jim Morrell from Peninsula Credit Union. More great conversations and more. It's all coming up on this Wednesday here on Daybreak.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
A good Wednesday morning to you. Jeff Slakey, Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. In regional news, more than 1,300 people in the state have been trained and are ready to work with local health departments to do contact tracing once a case of coronavirus has been confirmed in a county. Governor said that of those already trained, 351 are from the National Guard, 390 are from the Department of Licensing, and 630 are state or local health professionals. And he said that number could be expanded even more in the coming weeks. The Supreme Court is taking an unusual voting issue that could have important consequences for 2020 in an era of intense political polarization. Today is the court's final day of arguments by telephone with live stream audio. 2 cases deal with whether presidential electors are bound to support popular vote winners in their states or can opt for someone else. So-called faithless electors have not been critical to the outcome of a presidential election, but that could change in a contest with a razor-thin margin. Couple more news notes for you here this morning on the Daybreak Show. I sure hope you're having a good start to the day and are looking ahead to a nice weekend and some chances to have a little R&R perhaps. More Daybreak Show on the way. Good morning.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
And once again, good morning to you. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. As mentioned in the newscast, Mason County yesterday had a written formal request submitted to change to Phase 2 on the variants. Request submitted yesterday morning. About a half an hour later, a verbal response of no was received by the State Secretary of Health, John Weissman. County requesting a formal written response to include reasonings why Mason County was denied the variants. On the Mason County All Hazards News Facebook page, Chief Deputy Ryan Sperling introduces Mason County Commissioner Sharon Trask and Mason County Health Director Dave Wyndham to talk about this variance application.
Hey, Mason County, Ryan Sperling from Mason County Area Command and Mason County Sheriff's Office. A quick update for you today on some of the things that are going on. We're going to bring on our Health Director Dave Wyndham and Commissioner Sharon Trask to give you a quick update.
Hi, Dave Wyndham with Mason County Area Command. I want to talk about the variance that we submitted this morning. Part of the requirements for the variance was to be able to meet a standard of no new cases within 3 weeks. Mason County has had the odd case here and there, so what we proposed was to go to a different standard. And that standard being, if you look at the CDC recommendations of about 0.71 cases per 100,000 population per day, and we break that down to Mason County, that comes out to about 0.45 cases per 64,000 people per day. Right now, with the cases we've had over the last 21 days, we're looking at about 0.22 cases per day. So figure about 1 case per every 5 days. Our point in the variance request was we have all the capability to do testing, tracking, and treating. We have places for all those people. This does not overwhelm our system at all. We have plenty of capacity to spare, and that's why we requested the variance to go forward.
Hi, Sharon Trask, Mason County Commissioner, District 3. Wanted to give you a little update of what happened this morning. I'll read this statement. A written formal request was submitted for Mason County to have a variance to move to Phase 2. The request was submitted at 8:22 a.m. this morning, May 12, 2020. Within 30 minutes, a verbal no response was received from Washington State Secretary of Health, John Weisman. We're requesting a formal written response to include the reasonings why Mason County was denied this variance.
Again, you can see that on the Mason County All Hazards News Facebook page. Good morning to you. Daybreak Show rolls on.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Well, good morning, everybody. The Daybreak Show with Jeff and Spencer here, and via Zoom video conference, the great guys from Peninsula Credit Union, Jim Morrell and Kirk Smith. Good morning, guys.
Hey, Jeff.
Nice to
Good
talk
morning,
with
Jeff.
you.
Good to see you.
And we're working on our Zoom video conference here, so we're going to navigate some of the technical, of course, constraints that we've had over the last couple of months, but have a good conversation about what's going on out there right now. First, Jim, give us a little bit of a credit union report. How's the team? How are the members doing?
Everybody's doing, continuing to approach this really positively, Jeff. It's been remarkable what our team has done to continue to pivot as each new week and month progresses. We're now, I think, 2 months in about since when we went into our branches being appointment only and our drive-up lanes, and we've had people on a busy payday a couple weeks ago directing traffic in the street for us. So we're having some fun with it. We have fun pajama days and dress-up days and things like that going on to try and keep our staff spirits up and so forth. And our members have been great too about adjusting to new ways of doing business with us, more over the phone, more remote delivery, electronically signing things. So we're still fulfilling all of the needs, and we're seeing a lot of new accounts open. We started seeing some car loans taking place just this past weekend as car dealerships began to do the auto selling thing again. And so it's continued to be a positive experience, but it's an experience, right? It's an event, they call it.
It is definitely an event. Let's go into one of the things that the credit union and the federal government have kind of been working together with. This is the SBA loans, the PPP loans. We've heard from the top down that the funds for phase 1 were available, and then they went by really fast, and now it looks like there may be some more monies available. Who are the ones who have benefited already from the loans, the PPP and SBA loans, and who still out there is available to access these?
Yeah, so SBA payroll protection loans were the theme for the entire month of April, learning how to do that because we at Peninsula were not previously an SBA lender. So we spun up our program and started offering loans. The exciting news is as of just a few minutes ago, we had approved 51 loans for about $2.2 million. And really the most impressive thing beyond numbers, which we like to talk about at a credit union, is that's benefited 322 people from being able to retain their jobs.
Wow.
And that's a huge impact. And Kirk has been working and talking with some of those small businesses, landscapers and dentists and individual CPAs, just a lot of people. I don't know, Kirk, if you have a story you'd like to share from any of those.
Yeah, one that comes to mind, there's a landscape design business up in Kitsap County that they had approached their bank and the bank basically said, we can't help you. I don't think there's many options or anything else. Well, just that day, in a bizarre circumstance, that's the day we decided to send an email out to our members that we thought had business accounts, and just wanted to let them know that, hey, we're here to help you. We know we haven't done business loans in the past, but right now we can, and we're engaged and we're ready to help. And so just reach out and let us know if we can be of assistance. Well, this particular member saw that email on that exact day and decided to go into the branch, and she had a good conversation with our branch manager. And he basically convinced her, he was like, what do you have to lose? If the loan gets denied, you're not out anything. I mean, maybe an hour or two's worth of work of collecting information and collecting data. Other than that, what do you have to lose? And she's approved, and she has been extremely gracious and thankful that we were able to just reach out and say, hey, give it a try. We're here to help, even though she had already been told that she didn't qualify or whatever that institution had told her. And second, that we were able to do it in such a way that she just felt kind of cared for along the entire way. It was really kind of an awesome story.
Well, over the years, I was just going to say, over the years talking with you guys, I mean, that's kind of that's the main thing that separates the credit unions from other financial institutions out there, is that their members, you're part of the family when it comes to that. So you guys have been seeing some of those small business loans come in. On the personal side, many Americans started to receive those stimulus checks, and there was a whole bunch of different metrics on how much you were going to get. When those monies started to come in, Jim or Kirk, what was it like to hear from your members about that additional help during this?
Sure. Just one last thought on the SBA PPP. If anybody is interested or been sort of thinking about it, please reach out to us. We have a special email, sba@pcfcu.org, and we'd be happy to walk them through that process. There's still funds available for that program, so hit us up with that. For the stimulus payments, the biggest thing that everybody was interested in is my money there yet, right? They wanted to know if it had been received electronically or, with the check. And so a lot of people haven't spent all of that money yet. I think there's some notion that they're saving it. We did get word that there's a website at irs.gov where people could put in electronic information or make sure that they were getting their stimulus payment. I think that website ends on the 15th, if I remember correctly. Sorry, the 13th. So today, on May 13th. And all of the payments should be issued by the 1st of June. That's our understanding as of yesterday from the Treasury and the IRS. So
in these types of situations, is it, you can come at this from the credit union side or from just a person's side, is it better to hold on to some of that money in a bank account, move it over to your savings, perhaps in the case of down the road, or would you say that the point of this was to use it on goods and services, or use it for would it be better to use it on your mortgage payments, or what's your understanding of the best use of this money?
I think each individual needs to look at it as what is best for them in their particular circumstance. I think depending on which point of view you're looking at, you're going to get a different answer. The government, they want us to spend it and get the economy, keep it rolling. And that is a positive thing. But I think each individual needs to look at their personal finances and their budget and their savings account, figure out, okay, so for some people, they may need to be spending that right now to pay for essential bills to make sure that they continue to exist and to be able to have the things that they need, whether it's housing or food or, so some people are going to be using it for that. Some people in the short term, they may be okay. Maybe their hours were cut short slightly, but they're still going to need some money in the future, right? Maybe they have a big purchase or something else coming up. So just look at your individual circumstances and do what is best for you at that time. And if you don't know what would be the best option for you, or if you think, man, I just really don't know, I'd have to talk through this with somebody, we would be more than happy to do that. Just reach out to us at pcfsu.org or give us a call. And we have our, 100% of our staff are certified financial counselors. And so no matter who you talk to, you would have the opportunity to talk to somebody that has been empowered and given the tools and the education necessary to kind of walk you through some of those steps so that you can come to your own conclusion.
And that's something that you guys have encouraged often, especially since this began, to be forthcoming to either you, if they're a member with you guys or anywhere in finances, to be upfront and honest with the situation that you're currently involved in. Although perhaps you may feel uncomfortable with your situation, thinking you're unique in a sense, a lot of folks have gone through, if not the exact situation, similar situations, and you guys have got those types of playbooks perhaps to help them navigate through that.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we practice and we talk with our teams about all the time, which is listening. It's really important to us to understand what your individual circumstance is, rather than us trying to apply a Band-Aid when a cut doesn't need a Band-Aid, right? And so the more that we can hear from you, and the earlier we hear from you that there could be a financial challenge or issue, the sooner we can start working with you in order to take steps to take care of that. None of us really knows, even still today. There's a lot of speculation about whether this economic impact will be a V shape or a big U, or a lot of conversation this week is that it's more like the Nike swoosh. So we don't know how long somebody's financial circumstance is going to last, and our goal is to try and help stabilize what your current situation is, and build a foundation that is going to help you for as long as possible. That's our goal, is to help you out financially.
Explain to me a little bit about what's going on now. I saw the post about this unemployment insurance and the fraud that's going along with this now. People are using other people's names to start collecting unemployment insurance.
That's right. Yeah. So we caught wind of this yesterday, both from our some of our own employees' names, where Peninsula's HR department was being contacted from the Employment Securities Division, saying somebody from your organization is claiming unemployment, and our response was, they still work here, so they shouldn't be, right? And at the same time, we were hearing from members, 6 altogether yesterday. I've also talked with Heritage Bank, with the county, Mason County, with the Shelton School District. All of them were experiencing the same thing, where people's identity was being used to open unemployment claims, and by notifying them, the Employment Security Division, those payments to the wrong people were stopped. So there is information, and we could post it in the show notes, Jeff, that as far as where people can contact either by phone or email, and the sooner they do that, if they know of the issue, the sooner it can be resolved.
Do you get a sense of when these claims would have been opened? I know in talking with folks who have applied for unemployment, sometimes this has been weeks before they've had a chance to even talk with anybody from the department on whether or not their claims are being looked at or been denied. So is this something that could have happened weeks ago, and are there Social Security numbers that are being compromised during this?
So Kirk, I think, did some research on some of the news articles that were coming out, over this past weekend? Is that?
Yeah. So it's a pretty recent thing. We don't know. We don't know if there was a breach. We just don't know. And Employment Security at this point, honestly, is saying kind of the same thing. We don't know where it's coming from. We know that it exists. Yesterday, Employment Security Department on Facebook, on their actual Facebook page, posted a screenshot of one of these fake pages and said, this is a fake page. If you see this exact thing, we don't have any forms that look like this. Here's how to contact us. Here's how to let us know where you see that. So I would encourage people to go look for that as well, directly from Employment Security. And when in doubt, always ask. Don't just click that link on that email, and don't just assume that the phone number that you're reading or that you have in front of you is the one that goes to Employment Security. if you feel the need or have the suspicion that something's going on, go find that number for employment security yourself, right? And look for that from a source that you trust and that you know is accurate, and then contact them that way and explain your situation. And they'd be more equipped to handle those sort of questions and your situation specifically.
Saw on your guys' YouTube channel, you're posting some videos with informational resources. One of those is unemployment, the other healthcare, health plan finder, things like that. What are some other ways in financial education that you guys are reaching out, not only to the members, but just Shelton and Mason County, in your surrounding area?
Yeah, we're trying to just, get the information into the hands of the people who need it, all of us, right? And Jeff, as you mentioned, we did one about unemployment claim fraud. We did that recently. Navigating unemployment. How do you figure this out? A lot of people are having to do this for perhaps the first time in their entire life. They don't even know where to begin. And so a lot of that information is taken directly from employment security with links in the YouTube description and everything. And then healthcare. If you want to continue your healthcare coverage after being laid off, how do you do that? What are the steps? What are your options, right? So we're continually trying to build that library of resources as information is being brought to light. As fast as we can, we're trying to come up with information and content that is applicable and try to get it in the hands of the public and our members and our communities in which we serve.
Well, it's a good conversation here. Jim Morrell, Kirk Smith from Peninsula Credit Union, focusing on the credit union. Of course, you guys do a lot of good in the community, but also some good information for everybody in general. It was nice to see you guys.
It's good to see you, Jeff.
One of these days, we'll all gather again in public at a safe distance and wave. It's nice.
That's right.
Nice to see you guys.
Shave off this
Thanks
COVID
for having
beard,
me.
maybe.
Oh, I like it. No, it looks good, Jim. It looks real good. I'm about 5 minutes away from shaving my head to see what that looks like. Who knows, right? Guys, good to talk with you. We'll put this on the website. We'll have it on the air. And of course, any more information, Peninsula Credit Union is online. You can find them on social media. They're on the web. They're on YouTube. They're everywhere. Kirk Smith, Jim Morrell. Good to talk with you guys.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
to see you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber 1 News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.